So, hey, it's great to meet you. I would love to begin our conversation with coming up on the 4-year anniversary of this whole pandemic. How did you survive COVID and how did it change you?
I don't think that my business suffered in any way because of the pandemic, because I was already online. I did all my coaching with my private clients and I had online digital, not digital programs, but also group programs. So there were very few people that I ever worked with in person, except I was before the pandemic just starting to run retreats for people who wanted to overcome their fear of speaking. So that was the one thing that got delayed, but it wasn't like I didn't have this other online presence already.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. At the end of the day, I understand what you do on paper, but if I was to put you in front of a bunch of third graders, it's career day, and one of the kids says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer that
I'll,
child?
I'll tell them that I help people be comfortable when they speak in front of a group of people or when they get on camera.
So, what did you want to be in the third grade?
A dancer.
Okay. Did you dance?
I did. It's all I ever did, like after school. And then um, I think I took my first dance therapy program when I was 18. It was a summer program.
Yeah.
And that kind of completely shifted the area of dance that I wanted to do, which was from ballet, jazz, modern dance, into using dance as personal growth and mental health.
Yeah.
So then everything that I did was geared to that. I went into a grad program
Yeah.
for dance therapy and expressive arts therapy. And I worked with people. I taught classes like 4 days a week until I figured out I didn't know anything about running a business.
Yeah.
And so I put it kind of like on the back burner for decades, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. One of the more essential things that we have to do as human beings is obviously communicate. But public speaking is one of the biggest fears that we have as humans. How did this fear become something that was so easy for you to overcome and to help other people get to a better place with?
Well, it's interesting that you say so easy. I mean, it's easy
Well,
once it's done,
yeah.
but you see, I was comfortable dancing because I didn't have to speak.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But even just moving in front of an audience, it wasn't until I was in grad school, I was studying a process called authentic movement, where you moved in front of witnesses who were there to create safe space. So it wasn't like judgmental, it wasn't about being good, but you closed your eyes and you just kind of allowed the flow of whatever intuitively wanted to come out, come out. So you were not following any kind of choreography. It was more like listening to what the body wants to say, quote unquote. That process of being seen with not, and we're all of us, whether we're moving or witnessing, practicing non-judgment, allowed me to be on stage with I was in a women's world music group for 40 years, but allowed me to be on stage as their principal dancer without any kind of interference or mind thinking or pulling me away from the present moment
Yeah.
because I had practiced that so deeply. However, I didn't have that with speaking. I hated having to introduce a song from the stage.
Wow.
So when I became an online entrepreneur, I took a coaching program. I thought I would do some kind of life coaching, and I needed to put myself out there. It was 2015. Periscope was the first live stream app. And all
Wow.
the marketing gurus said, you got to broadcast daily to build a following. And I thought, I'm going to do this. I'm a late bloomer. I've always been late to the game. I'm going to be an early adopter. So I got on there. It was terrifying. Oh my God. I felt like I was hyperventilating every single day. I reached out to my video mentor at the time and I said, are you scared too? I mean, this is terrifying. And she said, oh, Linda, you'll be fine after, I don't know, 10 weeks or so every day. I went 10 weeks. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just like pace myself. I'll pull myself together. I'm going to do this. I know I'll get over the hump. Well, I got to 10 weeks, day 75. My heart is still pounding like a racehorse tearing around the track. And I thought, what is wrong with me? Everyone says practice makes brings you to, gives you experience, you'll become confident. And I thought, well, not me. I'm managing it. Don't get me wrong. I was getting on every day. I was doing meditation and affirmations and power poses and deep breathing, reframing, everything I could find on the internet, I was doing. So I was managing it. But that took so much emotional bandwidth and
Yeah.
and effort. I just wanted to get rid of it. I just didn't want to have to think about my physical symptoms.
Yeah.
So I decided that if I was going to get rid of the fear, I'd have to get to the root of it. So
Hmm.
I closed my eyes and I asked if the fear could speak, if it could talk, what would it say? And immediately I had a flood of memories of when it was dangerous for me to be the center of attention, when I was bullied, when I was shamed,
Yeah.
when I was pressured to perform before I felt ready to, kind of like pushed forward and and feeling reluctant. And suddenly I realized, oh my God, my fear of speaking has nothing to do with what's going on today. It has
Yeah.
everything to do with what went on in the past.
Hmm.
So once I realized that, I knew I actually had tools to clear it away because I
Yeah.
had been very deep in personal development. So I did things like emotional freedom technique. People know it as EFT or tapping. I did journaling. I did forgiveness. I'm into dance. So, I was doing dance for release and probably a few other things thrown in there. Within 5 days, my speaking fear had completely transformed. I was no longer having heart palpitations. I felt like I could just be in the moment. It was as if I had caught up with myself to the present moment because I had cleared all that old stuff away. So I wasn't getting triggered.
Yeah. Wow. I heard JFK had a unbelievable fear of public speaking for a long time, and he may
Mm,
never have even gotten over it. Isn't that crazy to
mm,
think?
mm-hmm.
I mean, it was kind of like that movie, The King's Speech. You just assume these people that are so good and groomed in front of a microphone were born that way, but we're not. It's a fear for a reason. So I'm curious, what was the best speech that you've ever seen?
Oh gosh. I went to the National Speakers Association a few years ago, a conference that they gave, and there was what is his name? He has a book called Known. I have it here somewhere. I'm like glancing around my space. What is his name? I can't think of it. I'll have to look it up.
Okay.
um, I remember being blown away, totally blown away. I felt like he had his ideas drilled down in a way that was engaging. It was funny. I felt like he was present with us. He was happy to be where he was at. He felt very natural. It wasn't put on. It was it was magical. Now that I've taken a lot of public speaking programs, I understand what goes into that. There is a hell of a lot of rehearsal. I mean, probably 100 hours that a speaker will put in to craft the talk, to refine it, to do it over and over and work out different parts of it so that it flows and so it speaks and has contrast and different kinds of elements to speak to different people. It's complex.
Yeah.
However, I have been equally moved. Let's say in my programs, my Comfy on Camera program or my Clear Your Fear program, when I have people speak spontaneously,
Hmm.
like we'll do what I call wisdom talks, and I have a word generator and they'll get the word creativity or friendship or persistence or something like that. And they'll speak just whatever comes to their mind, whatever's in their heart. Maybe it brings up a story. I have been just as moved from that.
Yeah. Yeah. We have the Harry S. Truman Museum here. It's in Independence, Missouri. It's just, 20 minutes from here. And I saw Bill Clinton in '05, I believe. Wow. He comes through the doors, like all the particles in the room just change. Like it was almost like the speaker's chambers whenever they're doing the State of the Union, like I announce thee, and they just this rush. So he comes in and just wow. I mean, I still remember the speech. I mean, he was talking about solar panels on buildings in New York City and how we can conserve energy and reallocate all of these natural resources, and just the hope and just the tenor and timbre and the way he delivered it was like, wow, this dude knows what he's doing. But anyways, I will never forget that. That was the moment where it's very rare, and I've talked to people that have been around Mandela and other people like that, that all of the particles in the room are just changed. They're just,
Yeah.
you know, there's
Yeah.
just something magical.
Yeah.
So,
There's
um,
some great TED Talks out there also that
yeah.
kind of blow me away.
Oh, yeah.
Jill
Yeah.
Bolte Taylor was one of the original ones, or Sir uh, Robinson. He died, I think, last year, but he did several on creativity in schools.
Hmm.
So funny,
Yeah.
so present. Yeah,
Yep.
it, but here's the point that we are all speakers. Speaking is our human design. And if you look at any child learning to speak, they are delighted with making sounds and putting words together and figuring out the whole syntax and semantics of speech. And it's a joy for them.
Yeah.
But then you get, I don't know, 5, 10, 20 years later, and people are so inhibited. So the
Hmm.
question is, what happened to that free self expression?
Yeah.
Where did we trade it for caution? Where did we learn it was safer to hide?
Well, there's a poet, one of my favorite poets, his quote is, "We're born geniuses and buried idiots." As life goes on, we put all these fences around us. All of these things start coming up out of the ground, and they become alibis, and we have to get over it. You got to figure a way around it. So
Yes.
that's the thing about children. They're fearless. They don't have all of the baggage. They're just these little blobs of flour in the wind, and they just grab it and go,
Yeah.
which is why it's so good.
Yeah.
So,
And then we tell them to be quiet, tell them to behave, use their
yeah.
indoor voice. We pass down cliches that we heard, and we repeat them, we regurgitate them without considering what's being absorbed.
Uh-huh.
Like, don't talk back to your elders, or if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. It's like there are elements of wisdom in that, but there's also elements of harm,
Yeah.
because then if you're a good kid, you want to follow the rules, and then you get to a place where they're saying, just speak, just speak, and it's like, but you told me it wasn't good
Uh-huh.
to.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's the grand paradox of being alive, for sure.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Who's been a hero for you in your life?
This may sound very corny, but my daughter,
Yeah.
and I think probably a lot of parents feel this way about their children, kind of showing the way.
Yeah.
I feel like, I grew up in a household where there was a lot of fighting, a lot of yelling. I felt inhibited. That was part of my traumatic past experiences of not feeling safe especially around my siblings, where because they were jealous of me. My mom was very unconscious, and she would say, "Why can't you girls be more like Linda?" Because I was the good one in the family, because I saw them got punished. I wasn't going to do what they did.
Yeah.
I was going to be the
Uh-huh.
good one. But she would elevate me. They would attack me. And so I felt very uncomfortable kind of being myself out in our public space. So I
Yeah.
learned to always be in my room and do my thing there. I'm losing my thought. Where was I? You asked.
Your hero, your daughter.
My hero, yes. So here I am as a hopefully a conscious parent trying to recreate a different kind of experience for my daughter than I had growing up. So when I look at her, I see this is what happens when somebody is in a nurturing environment, when
Yeah.
they are listened to, when they're respected, when we want to hear her opinion, her thoughts, and she kind of blows me away in her ease of who she is and how she can express herself. So I joined a women's world music group when I was in my 20s. I had no musical background. I felt like I was learning as I went, and I had a lot of hangups because of things that people had said to me about my voice. Whereas I remember she was in college, and she was a little down. She said, "I feel really down. I think I'll go to some auditions today. That'll make me feel better." And I'm thinking, who says that?
Yeah.
Who says, "I think I'll go to some auditions to feel better"?
Yeah.
And it's because she understood that she got to express herself with her voice, which she just loved doing. She had no attachment to getting into the group because she probably didn't even want to join. But it was just a way of being in the center, and she knew that she was going to get some nice feedback from it
Yeah.
and some dopamine from it. And I think, wow, that's amazing. And I felt like I could look at her and say, I'm going to try that too.
Yeah. 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 That's amazing. Let me ask you this. If you could meet anybody alive on the planet right now that you find fascinating, whether it's a speaker or otherwise, who would it be? Who would you love to meet?
Oh, there's so many authors. The author of Cassandra Speaks. Okay, I've got to put my glasses on now because I
Sure. Yeah.
know I have it here
Yeah.
someplace.
Yeah. You're fine.
Okay, hang on. Hang on. Elizabeth Lasser is someone who I would love
Oh,
to
yeah.
talk to.
Yeah.
Barbara Corcoran. Oh my gosh, I would love to talk to Barbara. A, she posted a letter that she wrote after she was rejected to Shark Tank. That had a huge impact on me. So when I wrote my book, Delight in the Limelight, I really wanted a blurb from one of my speaking mentors, Michael Port. And I had written to him. He said, no, I'm not going to do it because I feel like your book and my books there's too much overlap and it's a little bit of like a competition. Then I went onto LinkedIn. I saw Barbara Corcoran's post of what she wrote after she was rejected about why she they should take her. And I was so inspired by it that I decided to write this my mentor back again.
Yeah.
And he totally changed his response. He said, "Absolutely, I will write you a blurb." And now it's on my book and I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud to have his blurb, but I'm also proud that I was able to uh rather than just think, oh, he doesn't want to do that for me, oh well, and giving up,
Yeah.
that she showed me a way. No, you don't have to give up. You come at it
Yeah.
with new evidence.
Yep.
And I have tried to reach out to her and get contact from her, but I'd love to talk with her about her experiences, what she has learned, um, to kind of design and create her life path and her career path.
Yeah. So let's kind of take that baton a little further. What is your driving force every day to wake up, to help people speak, to grow as a professional and as a human? What is that for you?
For me, it's the satisfaction of seeing people get over themselves, to break through in a way that they felt held back, just the way I personally felt held back. I feel so differently now post getting over my fear of speaking versus pre. And it's not just about speaking, it's about what you can imagine yourself doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's about the kind of my willingness to put myself out there so that more people can be helped, because I feel like, as I said before, speaking is our human design. If there's some place that we don't feel comfortable, let's get over it. If it's
Yeah.
not helping you, to just practice more. If it's not helping you, to ignore it and do it anyway. If it's not helping you, to just reframe it. Try my process of getting to the root causes and addressing them
Yeah.
so that you can be free. It's
Yeah.
it's a sense of freedom, of feeling like you are here and you have agency over your life.
Yeah.
So I think that's my driving force. I want to help more people to speak up. I feel, especially now, I mean, look around us. We're in election year. We've got all these wars around us, a lot of division. People are afraid to speak their minds. We don't have the ability to have civil conversations anymore. And I feel like more than ever, uh, we need to bolster our ability to express ourselves and to share our thoughts, be more savvy about it, be more skillful about it. Yes. But to get over the uh, what holds us back or what
Yeah.
presses us down so that we can have conversations like you and I are having.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the magic of podcasting is it's kind of this modern therapy where we can all understand that we're more alike than we're not. I mean, I think that we get wedged by these political agendas, that we are more divided and more, on one side or the other. But really, at the end of the day, there's a lot of basic needs that are very similar for all of us,
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. So what's been one of your favorite clients, one of your favorite client success stories?
Ah, oh gosh. So many. Okay. I was working with um a pilot. I'll say, I won't say what airline,
Sure.
a female in a very male dominated field. She had gotten to a place in her life where she was taking on quite a leadership role, speaking to the heads of different airlines, FAA, and had always felt like she was treated like a girl, younger, less than. That's the culture.
Yeah.
And so she needed to find a way through what her preconceived messages were, the stories she had been telling herself, that other people had been telling her, that experiences that she had that had cut her down in the past. We had to clear away past speaking experiences that felt mortifying to her. We had to, adjust her relationship to them where she could feel neutral, if not compassionate about it. And she was able to get to a place where she could step up to that mic and love the sound of her voice and filling the room with the sound of her voice and taking charge. And she has it's just such a transformation that is not just a joy for her, but a joy for her people around her, because they feel without any ambivalence her leadership to take this field to a much better place.
Yeah.
That's going to help. That is that is helping not just pilots but all the airlines in having employees that are doing better. So that's been a wonderful. Um, it's just always joyful to see what everyone does. But
Yeah.
it doesn't even have to be that big. I'm
Sure.
just as happy to see someone who came to me. She didn't. She came to me, yes, because she had a fear of speaking, but she was going to sing at a friend's wedding, and she felt terrified. So I helped get her to a place where she loved the experience of singing so much that that's what it was about. It was about putting her love through that song for her friend,
Yeah.
and where she felt like she would allow people to be privy
Yeah.
to that very intimate experience that she was having with the bride.
Yeah. That's wonderful. So of all of the things that you've done professionally in your life, what are you the proudest of?
Oh, well, this is a little bit, well, writing my book.
Yeah. Sure.
That's one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the second thing, you may laugh, but there was a time that I was just obsessed with wanting to get raw milk for my family, and it was illegal in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So I spearheaded a movement to change the legislation on it.
Nice. That's awesome.
And now we have 23 dairies licensed to sell raw milk.
Very cool. See, that's it. That's the true essence right there. Because when people say that you can't change the world, you can. You just can't.
And you know what, Joe? It was funny because it happened with public speaking.
Right.
I had reached out to the legislators. They were very unresponsive to me. Wouldn't give me the time of day. So I went to the Northeast Organic Farming Association. It's called NOFA. And I said, I think this is a something that I'd like to see you get behind. I'm sure I'm not the only one who wants to get raw milk. This is a silly, you know, rule that we have. And the director said, no resistance at all. She said, Linda, that's a great idea. Great idea. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you 90 seconds before the keynote speaker at the summer conference. You'll get to speak your message to 1,200 people. And I was like, I can't do that. I said, like, 10 years ago, last time I spoke in public in grad school, I opened my mouth and no sound came out. And she said, "Oh, Linda, just write down one page what you want to say, read it from the stage, you'll be fine." So that's what I did. I was like
Wow.
shaking, the paper was shaking. I went up the rickety stairs. I remember standing at the podium and silently making the sign of the cross, even though I'm Jewish. I mean, it was like anything to help me.
Yeah.
And people applauded. I
Yeah.
just kind of like just briefly stated what I was looking for, what I was hoping for. I put up a sheet of paper on a bulletin board. I got all these people who are interested in being a part of the effort. And in 2 years, we had gotten the first dairy licensed, and then after that was just like boom, boom, boom.
That's wonderful. So at the end of the day, everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, fans, clients, colleagues, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think I'm somebody with a lot of ideas, and I pick a few to get really passionate about. I see myself as somebody who has a big heart that wants to see people be happier.
Well said. So Delight in the Limelight is the book. If anyone wants to pick that up, they want to hire you, they want to learn more about you, the good business. How do we do it?
I would say the best thing to do is to download my speaker preparation list, which are all the ways you can prepare yourself to speak other than rehearsing what you want to say.
Yeah.
So, warming up your body, your voice, your mind, working through your mindset, meditations that you can do so that you're grounded, you're focused, and you're energized. And you can get that at lindaugelow.com. That's UGELOW.com/rituals.
Excellent. Linda, this has been wonderful, very enlightening. Thank you so much for your story. Thank you for your time. Keep doing the good work.
Great to meet you, Joe.
Great to meet you.